In episode number 281 of the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, we cover Bendis' DC project.
We also have what's new on Netflix, some of the highlights based on what we cover on the show.
And our comic book highlight this week is Doomsday Clock number 3.
All of this and so much more on today's show.
Hello and welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke, ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Daniel.
And we have a very special guest again this week. Little Leo is here with us.
Yes, you're going to hear our little young man baby, possibly in the background, just like last time. But if we need to, we'll take him to the Pokemon Center and get him refreshed.
Get that diaper refreshed.
So to new listeners to the show, the way we format it is first we go through some news, then we head into we're going to change the format a little bit. We're going to go into our hashtag games after the news along with the Brokette Block. So that includes our Patreon backers.
Do we have a jingle for that now too?
Not yet, but you can do it for this episode. And then we'll end it with a comic book highlight of the week, which as you mentioned earlier, it is the latest from Jeff Johns.
Kicking it off with some television news, Lex Luthor and Lois Lane are set to star in their own television show.
It's actually going to take after the Gotham television show that we see on Fox. It's very popular, and it's got the same producer who is John Stevens and also Danny Cannon. This is set to be right before the arrival of Superman, much like Gotham before the arrival of Batman.
According to the Hollywood Trade, the show was originally pitched as a companion piece to Fox's Gotham, so they were originally supposed to be in the same universe.
Do you think the world of Superman could fit with the dark tones of Gotham? Would they have to make Metropolis almost as dark as what they had in Gotham for Fox?
No, because they haven't made Metropolis as dark as Gotham in the comics, and it still works fine. You would still have young Superman, young Clark fighting his feelings for this young Bruce that he just met and not quite sure what's happening.
What's even crazier is that if this even had taken place in the same universe and we had gotten that, in the future there could have legitimately been, and it still could happen, I mean, who knows, it's all by Warner Brothers and it's all by DC Comics, but they could take these young actors who starred in Gotham, who starred in Metropolis, and eventually do like a Batman Superman TV show or a full Justice League with the same actors, considering that they somehow retain their same acting abilities and don't change over time. In 20 years, we can have those characters. You also have to think,
because the kid who plays Bruce, he's pretty skinny. So what's to say he's not going to be a real skinny adult? And then he couldn't play Batman because Batman's all muscle.
Michael Keaton played Batman.
Yeah, but Michael Keaton's Michael Keaton.
And this little kid is that little skinny Batman.
But listen, but Michael Keaton, it was the 80s. We didn't care in 89.
We were just happy we got any Batman.
Right, we care now in 2018.
Now there's standards, yes. Right? Michael Keaton was actually, I think, even skinnier than Adam West was in Batman 66.
Wow, and Adam West is like super tiny.
Well, Adam West is actually, he had some bulk to him. He was definitely bulkier than I thought you were just going to say he's a Michael handsome Keaton.
Man. I'm like, are we looking at the same guy? Okay.
So I don't know, but it could still work. Maybe they do end up doing a successful type of show like Gotham before Metropolis on the Superman side.
I'm excited to see that. And yes, I would like to see them grow up someday and have another show. That'd be cool.
The only reason why this probably won't happen as far as a crossover is because these 13 episodes that got ordered are going to be streaming exclusively on DC's app that is coming out next year.
Those beach ants. So this joins Titans, Harley Quinn, and Young Justice Outsiders as the next exclusive debut for the service.
Maybe I missed a bit of news in which they said this is how many shows you're going to have exclusively on the app. But this is another one. They are really bulking up, much like the Batman have throughout the years, their streaming services and the shows that they are offering exclusively for this. So they are giving you more bang for your buck if you do subscribe to the WB app next year.
Well, and why not? Sure, go ahead and do it. I want to see all these shows. It's smart. It's the Netflix of this generation.
So really, that gives it 2 live-action shows with Titans and then 2 animated shows. So do you think that alone is enough? Do they have enough here? Is this enough shows to say, okay, give us those originals plus everything that is streaming with the movies and the TV shows and everything that has been published or has come out in the past, plus here's this original content? Or do you think they should add 2 to 3 more shows before they make this an attractive venue for buyers?
Batman the Animated Series is enough for anybody to jump on. For people who aren't super DC nerds like we are, yes, they probably will have to add 1 or 2 more shows. But they have the benefit of people will associate shows like The Flash and Supergirl with DC and say, oh, well, they're great at making shows, so let's jump on there.
Moving over to the comic book side of things, Disney has partnered up with Dark Horse to publish a 3-issue miniseries based on Frozen starting in August.
Let it go. I am so over Frozen.
There's still money to be made. There's going to be a Frozen 2. They need to keep the brand alive in some way. What I think is interesting is that it is actually publishing through Dark Horse and not through Marvel. So right now, Marvel doesn't have that division of these are Disney kids comics. Instead, what Disney's been doing is they've been licensing out those properties to places like Dark Horse Comics and saying, yeah, you can publish these stories. These are the guidelines. These are the restrictions. And you pay us this much. As opposed to them trying to do it all in-house themselves. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's because they don't have a department that's strictly for Disney Comics or if they want to get a wide variety of talent from other publishers and have them have a go at these characters.
Or they just don't want to put in the work.
That too, yeah.
Or the money. So the series will focus on Queen Elsa and Princess Anna trying to restore order in their increasingly chaotic kingdom.
We have a quote here from Mike Richardson, and he is the Dark Horse president and founder who said, quote, "We are incredibly excited to collaborate with Disney on this great project. Frozen has legions of fans, many of whom are here at Dark Horse. I've personally enjoyed repeated viewings with my granddaughter, and I look forward to sharing this new series with her," end quote.
All those viewings have poisoned his mind.
He's seeing all the dollars that he can make on Dark Horse.
Well,
honestly,
that is also true.
The Frozen one-shot that came out almost right after the movie sold out like crazy, and we had ordered up a little bit on it because we're like, okay, there's a lot of buzz around this movie. It did really well. Let's get extras of the comic. It got to the point where even speculators were coming out to try to get this Frozen comic book, and I think it topped out at about $10 when it was coming out. So it's a property that readers, I think it could do well. Now, the second series that came out did sit on the shelf, and no one ended up picking it up. So I don't know how well this is going to do for Dark Horse. I guess we'll know later on this year if there's maybe another Frozen bit of news that comes out from Disney, them saying, yeah, Frozen 2 is set to debut in 2020 or whenever they decide to release it. And then that'll give this comic a good little upstart to the readers who are like, okay, let me see what's been going on between Frozen 1 and Frozen 2.
You want to know what the only thing I liked about Frozen was?
Was it the Steam guy, the guy that has his boyfriend in a little frame that rents out the skis or whatever?
What? What are you even talking about?
You don't remember that? He has his family out in the ski lodge and it's like a steam bath thing.
The guy who goes, hello.
Yes.
It's summer blowout.
Yes. Is that him?
No.
What is it?
You proposed to me after we watched it.
After we watched Frozen?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
We went and saw Frozen, and then you proposed. Like, I mean, not like in the theater.
No.
But...
And for the record, it wasn't like I saw Frozen and I said, I'm going to propose to Kelli today. This was already planned. Like, I already had, a plan to propose on this day, and it wasn't because of Frozen in any way. I did not like Frozen. You didn't really like it. It just happened to be on the same day. And I don't ever want to remember this again. At least that Frozen bit of it.
Why?
It's a shitty movie. Like, let that go. Yeah.
But now I know that something good came out of after something shitty.
You're always going to associate Frozen now with happy thoughts and a happy memory because of the proposal.
Yeah, okay, fine. Whatever. Sure. So Dark Horse went on to mention that the book is the first string of comic book partnerships they will be having with Disney.
With the buyout of Fox that Disney recently did, that also takes the Predator comics away from Dark Horse, including Aliens and Prometheus.
So that's their partnership.
That's also Dark Horse saying, well, we're going to lose these properties. We need to make something for now until we can pick up the next thing. They also lost Conan to Marvel and to Disney as well. So there's a lot of bits of Dark Horse that they are losing out on. So they're either going to have to try to become the next Image Comics, which Image has slowed down in sales. So there is that room in that gap where another indie publisher can come up and try to take those sales, try to put out those quality independent books to catch those readers.
Dark Horse will never have Saga, so they will never be Image Comics.
Maybe they'll have the next Saga. Maybe they'll have something better than Saga.
No. You want to know what's coming next from Dark Horse and their Disney deal? The Incredibles comic book.
It's not a bad idea. They need to do an Incredibles.
They're coming out with the Incredibles too, so we will get the Incredibles comic book. What else are they? We'll see a Coco comic book. No, we won't. Mama Coco, when she died.
So continuing on to the comic book side with DC Comics, due to the most recent issue of Batman Brave and the Bold, writer/artist Liam Sharp has actually been getting a lot of heat for his upcoming miniseries.
And this is ridiculous. The reason that people are mad at him is just stupid. I don't understand. Okay, I do understand, but I still don't understand.
We'll tell it to the Brokette core so they see what the problem is here.
You're going to make me read this huge quote?
Oh, I'll read the quote if you want.
Yeah, you read the quote, and then I will talk about the quote.
I'll cut the quote in half. He said, quote, Liam Sharp again, "I was told I supported cheating on your partner for suggesting it's possible to have many relationships before you meet the one you truly love and marry. These things are the kind of moment that drive you away from interacting online. It's increasingly hard to be there for fans in a positive way because of this. And it's too easy to say ignore the trolls. By doing that, we have actually allowed this kind of behavior to flourish." End quote. This is all because of that Batman issue that he had nothing to do with.
Right.
What happened in the Batman issue that caused people to, Wonder Woman fans and Batman fans and Catwoman fans, to suddenly turn not only on the original writer, who was Tom King, but also to Liam Sharp, who has nothing to do with the Batman ongoing.
So, spoilers, if you guys haven't read this issue and it's in your pile to read, Batman and Wonder Woman go to some alternate reality something to take over for some guy who's just essentially fighting monsters forever.
Right.
That's all he does. And they said, if you ever want a day off, we'll take over and we'll fight for you and you could take a day off. So he's like, sure, peace, see you later. Like, I don't know, finally calls on them and goes and he's hanging out with Catwoman, and you see Wonder Woman and Batman fighting throughout the comic. Well, come to find out, the time works differently there. So it's been years and years and years, like a decade or something for them, and it's only been a few hours in the real world. So Batman and Wonder Woman, they're getting real close. They're going to have a thing. But in their mind, it's been 10, 20 years. It's not like they just got there and all of a sudden said, oh yeah, well, let's like cheat on our partners. Mm-hmm. They don't think they're ever coming back. They think they've been left and forgotten about, and that's it. So I don't see what the big deal is. It's part of the story. It's not, they're, at that point in time, they're no longer, I don't know, I feel like they're no longer cheating on whomever.
Well, not only that, but this is only the first part of this series, this story that Tom King is building. It's not like, and then Batman cheated on Wonder Woman and then came back to Catwoman. The end. Like, that's the cliffhanger. That's what comics are. And Tom King actually had to go on Twitter and say, I'm really sorry on how I handled Wonder Woman. I'm learning more about...
He didn't handle her wrong. Okay, whatever.
Well, people were saying they were accusing him of using Wonder Woman as strictly bait or as strictly like something for Batman to lust over, a tool for Batman to progress that story that he's telling, as opposed to her character, who maybe she would have been fine with not cheating on Steve or maybe had no attraction to Batman.
I don't know. If you were gone for many, many years, decades, 10, 20 years, without me, with another woman, would you still consider it cheating? Like, you never thought you were going to see me again. Our life together is over. Essentially, I died.
Right. That's not the issue, though. Like, I think the issue is that people... My big thing is, even if Tom King said, yeah, this is what I meant. As I said earlier, the series ends, he cheats on Catwoman, and that's the end. Not even they disappear anywhere. He has a one-night stand with Wonder Woman. That has nothing to do with Liam Sharp and his series. And he's getting shit for it. That's what pisses me off the most, is because this is simply a team-up book that doesn't take place anywhere in that story that Tom King is telling. This is a side thing. They're bringing back the Brave and the Bold, which they did for many years. And he has to deal with these angry fans that haven't even read the next issue to this series.
Nerd rage reactioners.
It's a nerd rage reaction on a massive scale.
Beat chants.
They're fucking beat chants. Like, that is my biggest thing, that Liam Sharp still has to come out, defend his book over something that has nothing to do with him.
Right. And granted, they shouldn't do that, but people shouldn't be mad about it anyway. I don't know. I'm very passionate about this, and I'm the biggest Batcat supporter ever. But I don't look at it like, why is he hitting on Wonder Woman when he's got Catwoman over there? He thinks she's gone forever.
Plus, even if he didn't, this is Batman we're talking about. He sleeps with everyone.
Just throw it around, Batman. Except with Talia.
Everyone.
Keep it in your pants for Talia. And Zatanna. I don't like her either.
The Batman Brave and the Bold miniseries is set to release on February 21st. It's Batman and Wonder Woman teaming up.
Can you believe it's February already? Can I throw that out there?
I mean, the holidays always make everything blur up.
Ugh. So like we mentioned in the beginning, we do have some news about Brian Michael Bendis' start on the DC project. He did tease it on Twitter and Tumblr this week.
He tweeted out, quote, "Just did a big interview about what is coming from me on DC Comics. Stay tuned," end quote. And then he included a GIF of Michael Keaton looking at the bat signal from Batman Returns.
Oh, so he's writing a Michael Keaton comic book.
Oh my God, I hope so. Like, that's one, I don't know if someone had already tweeted that to him, and I was going to, but I was doing the show notes, so I just left it and kept going. But I want him to actually be doing a Batman 89 ongoing.
Oh no, I meant just one about Michael Keaton. But I mean, it could be a Batman too. That would be pretty cool, because there's so much more story to be able to be told.
Like, you can ignore everything that happened in Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, and then continue the story right after Batman Returns, because as we saw, Catwoman was still alive at the very end. They could have brought her back for anything. I think the plan was to... I know for Batman Triumphant, which was the 5th movie, and I know that includes Batman Forever and Robin, they were going to include Man-Bat and Harley Quinn. So they could have included all kinds of characters in this Batman 89 series, but they also could have finally finished, and I know they did it with Lego Batman, but they could have had Harvey Dent, as we saw him in the original Batman 89, as eventually turn into Two-Face.
Cool. Yeah, they definitely need to do that. I don't think that's what he's doing.
No, not at all.
Well, it would fit with his writing style, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, we'll see if this is actually going to be him taking over for a major series, if they're going to start a new Batman ongoing, or if this is a miniseries from Brian Michael Bendis. I think with a name that big, you do throw him on a Batman ongoing.
Right. Even if he only stays on for like the first 6 issues, you still throw his name on there.
It gives it a boost on subscribers that are going to want to read the book, and maybe they'll stay on there. But Bendis is a guy that will stay on a series for many, many years, much like Dan Slott. He will stay on that contract for as long as you keep paying him.
I do love that. Where was it that you saw that great quote about what
Newsarama.
The book is, Newsarama, or what the book is going to be like? I do appreciate that. Did you tweet it out?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so read that. Go on the Twitter at Reasons I'm Broke. It is very accurate. Leo thinks so as well.
So DC Comics has actually announced a weekly series teaming up the heroes and villains, and they're taking on a cosmic threat. This actually got all over Twitter, all over Tumblr, mainly because people like the costume designs that Francis Manapul made. And that was enough of an image for the casual reader to be like, oh, those are really cool teams. I want to read that series.
Oh, man, I thought it was cool because of the costumes, too.
See what I mean? Like, it's the perfect hook. It's the perfect hook.
So this is titled Justice League No Justice. It will be a 4-issue series with writers including Scott Snyder, Joshua Williamson, and James Tynion IV, with concept art from Francis Manapul.
So this is actually going to be Scott Snyder's next big project now that Dark Knight's Metal is about to wrap up.
Oh, finally. I mean, yay!
Yeah, you didn't like Metal, did you?
Nope.
In No Justice, Brainiac arrives on Earth with a warning for DC's heroes about an impending threat that can only be stopped if the Justice League joins forces with some of DC's worst villains.
So we do have, like you said, 4 different teams. Team 1 is Superman, Starro, Martian Manhunter, Starfire, and Sinestro.
So it is all of the aliens. This is Team Aliens. This is Team Roswell. That's what they should fucking call it. I hope Batman calls it Team Roswell. And if they don't, you can take that Francis Manapul, take that Snyder, give them each a team.
We don't even want credit. Well, maybe like a penny for each book sold.
Special thanks to Daniel and Kelly from the Reasons I'm Broke podcast.
And Leo.
He's discovered how to make fart noises with his mouth.
He loves it. He loves to blow raspberries at me and go, buh, 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 buh.
What do you think of Sinestro? I think that is the main hook for me. Sinestro is on the team with Starfire, with Superman.
I think Starfire is pretty cool. I feel like Starfire and Martian Manhunter would get along really well.
Probably, yeah. I don't think Sinestro is actually going to be that much of a problem for them. I know there's going to be that one page where the villains are going to try to challenge the leader of each team. But out of all the villains that they have on here, maybe Lobo, but Sinestro is going to be the least worrisome out of all of them because he's a smart guy. He wants to do the greater good. He just goes by using fear and force to bring that forth.
I feel like there will be a moment where he and Superman will kind of have an argument about his tactics because Sinestro is going to be like, we need to use fear to stop them, detective. I don't know. I don't know why I made him Ra's al Ghul. And then Superman's going to be like, no, we have to use hope and love or something silly.
We need to protect Batman. Why do you care so much about this, Batman?
And Sinestro would be like, he'd see him and go, yes.
Yes. I did tell him he would make a great Corps member. That was the best. When first time they meet, he compliments fucking Batman.
Well, yeah,
that was in the
we
New
all?
52, right?
I think so.
That was perfect. Team number 2, and that's going to be with the leader of the Flash. And on the Flash's team is going to be Cyborg, the Atom, Harley Quinn of all people, and Damian Wayne.
Of course, Harley Quinn, because
she sells books.
You put her in everything. I think that's an interesting team up. I don't know that I would ever pair any of them together, but hey, they did it.
That is like maybe the Flash and Cyborg, Flash, and the Atom done. Like that's definitely a core team right there.
Mm-hmm.
But then the oddball Damian Wayne. He's not going to listen to anyone.
No.
He's got to make fun of Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
Harley's probably going to she's going to try to kill Damian and claim that they've killed a Robin before anyway.
Oh, shit.
And then Damian will say something along the lines of, that wasn't a real Robin. Try to kill me. And we'll be like, oh shit, fucking Damian Wayne. Fuck yes.
I really want to sit down at some point and really analyze all the different people on these teams because I'm sure they paired them all up for a reason.
Yeah.
Everyone has a different strong suit. So moving on to team number 3, the best team there is. So this is led by Batman with Deathstroke, Lobo, Lex Luthor, and Beast Boy.
Whatever names you mentioned after Batman would not have mattered because it's
matter.
Team Batman. It's Batman, and if they choose to come along, fine. It will not affect the outcome of what Batman's gonna fucking do. And that is save the day, take out Brainiac, put Brainiac on his own fucking team, make him a Robin also, make everyone a Robin. By the way, all of these characters are now Robins. Whenever you team up with Batman, you're Robin.
You're a Robin. I do find it interesting that they put Lex Luthor on his team because you now have the smartest man, Batman, and the second smartest man, Lex Luthor,
That's true.
in the world on the same team.
And I know people will argue like, no, it's Mr. Terrific. No, it's Batman.
Who's
It's always
Mr.
Batman.
Terrific?
The smartest man. One of the smartest man. I think it might be the smartest in the DC universe.
I've never heard of him, so he's not that terrific.
He's the guy with the T on his head. He's you've seen him on Justice League
Tornado?
Unlimited. Not the Red Tornado. He's the black guy with the T on his head.
Oh, that guy?
Yep.
I don't even know his name.
The other from Batman's team here. You mentioned Lex Luthor and Batman teaming them up together, that it's a little unlikely. I think it's more likely than teaming him up with Superman, for example, because Lex will admire Batman for being the one who's like, I know you don't care for the Kryptonian either, and you don't care about his ways, and he'll admire the fact that he also...
So he's gay for Batman, too.
Of course. He relates more to Batman than he does to Superman.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Because they're the least human, I think, out of, those three. It's Batman and Lex. And Superman, as many people have pointed out throughout the years, he's an alien, but he's also humanity summarized perfectly. Best in humanity.
He's more human than Batman. So,
yeah, absolutely.
All right, I guess I understand.
The final team is led by Wonder Woman, and she's got the cosmic or magic part of the DC universe as she teams up with Zatanna, another one of Batman's many ladies.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Etrigan. I love Etrigan.
Another
Fuck
one
yes,
of
if they had not
Batman's
put
many
fucking
ladies.
Etrigan. Raven, another Teen Titan, and Dr. Fate.
That one's pretty cool. I do enjoy that team. I think that'll have a very interesting dynamic led by Wonder Woman.
And that makes sense, too, because Wonder Woman has, in the past, wielded tons of magical items, the lasso of truth. That's who you put on that particular team. As you mentioned before, I think Flash's is the only one that doesn't make as much sense. Like, maybe you can say these are the smartest members. But then you have Harley Quinn. Like, yeah, she's a psychiatrist, but as we learned in the animated series, she slept her way through college.
Yeah. Like I said, I really want to sit down and analyze the strong points and the weak points of this whole team because I'm sure there is one. You could argue that the Flash is kind of the glue that holds the Justice League together, and Harley Quinn's very charismatic also.
You could. Or you can do a Suicide Squad animated movie where they said they were giving them all their... I think it was in the live action one. They said Deadshot does this and he can fire, and we've got Killer Croc who's the muscle. Harley Quinn, she's a wild card. It's like, that fucking means nothing, guys. So that's what she is. She's the wild card.
Harley Quinn, she's a $sign.
What?
Because she makes money. She's a $sign.
Oh, yeah, well, she definitely is.
Come on, Dan.
She is sales impersonating.
There you go. Thank you.
So after the conclusion of No Justice, Scott Snyder is going to take over as the writer on Justice League,
Cool.
while Tynion and Williamson will write spin-off series from this new event. No artists or release dates have been named for Snyder's Justice League or its untitled spin-offs. So this is how you do the next thing for DC Comics. If you notice, everyone, with the New 52, and even before that, at the tail end of it, before they relaunched, they were just putting out, okay, and Marvel's still doing this. They're not setting up things, stories like DC is at the moment. Okay, here's the next event. And now we have Civil War 2. And now we have, you know, No Surrender. But for this, they're like, okay, Dark Knight's Metal is ending, and out of that spins the new age of DC superheroes. So Damage and all these other characters are going to loosely tie into Dark Knight's Metal. Damage. But for this new series, for Justice League No Justice, they're doing this big event. It's going to be a weekly, and then from there, and Scott Snyder is now taking over the series, so you're going to have the same readers now jumping into Justice League, including myself. I haven't been reading Justice League. I didn't like the rebirth version of it. With Snyder on it, I will follow that guy in whatever book he writes. But then you also have the spin-off series that Manapul and James Tynion will be on. So you're going to have these other titles that are also kind of going to come out of this 4-issue miniseries, and then you're going to have increased readership. You just increased your readership, by 3, assuming that if they want to follow everything. So that's how you set up the next big thing. You put a good writer on it, a great artist with Francis Manapul, and you sell books.
And it's brilliant. And this is why DC is being as successful as they are, because they're setting these things up right, and they're getting us excited, and they're pulling from that nostalgia and all the things that we love all at once. And it's fantastic. Not that we're super DC nerds or anything. I mean, we're unbiased parties.
So rank your favorite teams from these 4.
Batman.
All right, well, that's number 1. So who's number 2, your second favorite team from this lineup?
Flash is my least favorite.
Okay, so that's number 4.
Batman is my most favorite. And then I feel like Wonder Woman and Superman are kind of tied for me. Probably Superman is number 2 and Wonder Woman is number 3.
Because Sinestro's on Superman's team,
well,
right?
yeah, and Starfire.
There you go.
And I don't like Zatanna. Zatanna is like a diet Talia for me.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. I just dislike Zatanna.
I think it's because of the animated series.
I probably.
Because it's another woman that Batman the Animated Series Batman kissed on screen.
I don't know what you're talking about. I never saw this episode. Don't know what you're talking about. See, Leo doesn't know either. You've distressed him by saying these fake news.
No, I don't think I did.
I'm pretty sure you did.
The last one, because this is the last bit of news before we jump into our Patreon shoutouts, the Brokette Block, as if you will. On Superman's team, Big Ass Starro.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be the fucking heart of this story.
He's going to be the Mogo of this story.
He's going to be the Mogo. He's going to be the Clayface.
He's going to destroy a ton of shit.
I think Starro is going to sacrifice himself for the team.
Oh, no. Stop. Like that little sunbeam did in
like
Superman.
The Star Eater. No. Yes, and All-Star Superman.
Oh, Mama Coco.
I can't wait for Justice League No Justice.
Yeah.
If you are looking to get this series, tell your comic shop as soon as possible because it is a weekly series. So they're going to be placing the orders for all 4 issues all in one go.
Ooh.
It's not going to be one of those like, okay, let's see how issue 1 sells first and then we can adjust orders from there. No, this is going to be an all-in thing. And that I personally don't like when publishers do this. I don't like that DC is doing it with this either because there is no way to adjust or to account for whatever doesn't sell or if you don't get enough. If they make it returnable, great. We'll order as many as we want and then
700.
But there's a lot of publishers that won't make it returnable. The new Sonic the Hedgehog comic is not returnable.
Damn it, B-Chance.
Avengers, when they started doing that weekly run, that's not returnable.
Damn it, B-Chance.
So it makes it really difficult and then it makes us either order conservatively because you don't know how the series is going to do or not order enough because then suddenly everyone did enjoy issue 1 and now there's not enough issue 2s. And being that it is Marvel, it's out of print, just wait. It's like, great. Do you want us to sell books? What do you want?
We'll wait and see. Hopefully DC will make it returnable, which sounds like the best situation for everyone. And we'll order 700.
So that will wrap it up for the news this week. Let's head into what's new on Netflix for February.
Keep in mind, this is not the full list. This is just what pertains to us. You're welcome to Google New on Netflix February 2018, and you will get the full list online.
So returning to Netflix, American Pie 1 through 5. All of them are coming to Netflix.
I've never seen any of these.
They are movies of their time. I will leave you that. The soundtrack is very 90s.
I only know the song. My Miss American Pie drove.
I don't think that's in there.
But now you're a Jedi.
I don't know what that is.
That's the Weird Al song.
Oh, I've never heard that version.
You haven't? It's
No.
all about Anakin. My Mr. Anakin guy. Maybe Vader someday later, but for now you're a small fry.
You know, I was never big on Weird Al growing up. I know it's weird, but
It is Weird Al. Ha 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 ha.
Kill Bill Volumes 1 and 2 are also coming to Netflix.
I've only seen a portion of that movie.
It's worth seeing at least once in your life. I think we should definitely sit down and watch them after we finish Godfather Part 2.
Boy, someday when we have time for Godfather Part 2. We also have Lara Croft Tomb Raider.
I included that because I love that this was Daniel Craig's audition, basically, for James Bond.
Yes!
I don't know if you knew this,
Was he Lara Croft?
No.
That would have been great. Daniel Craig with the ponytail.
The same short shorts, yeah. He was Lara Croft's love interest, and he has this one of the worst American accents I've ever seen. I can't think of a worse one. And you know what? The guy from Hackers was pretty fucking terrible. But Daniel Craig, he runs around with his terrible American accent, but then he also has a gun that is a signature Bond gun from the different films. And then right after this, he got signed on to do Casino Royale. So this was definitely like his, hey, watch me on screen in this and imagine me as Bond. More than like, I'm trying to be the Tomb Raider guy, you know? So
right.
That's one reason why it's like, that's kind of interesting as you watch it. Keep that in mind if you do go back and watch Tomb Raider. At one point, it was the best video game movie. Like, granted, I know, but it's not awful. It is not Blood Rain.
I just remember guys being in love with Lara Croft.
She was, I think if you were to take a poll, people would say she is the sexiest video game character.
Really?
In history, yeah.
On, like, over all those beach volleyball girls?
Yeah, because Lara Croft hit this level of popularity that hasn't been hit by any other female or male character when you talk about sex appeal since then.
Well, yeah, they don't make video game guys sexy. Name one sexy video game guy.
Didn't you like that guy from Kingdom of Hearts with the blue hair?
Riku? Yeah, but I wouldn't call him sexy. And he had silver hair.
Vegeta's in a video game.
I mean, Vegeta is pretty sexy, but he didn't, like, stem from a video game.
Right. What about the Devil May Cry guy?
I don't know who that is.
Well, you know what? You just don't play enough video games.
Or there's no sexy video game guys. Okay.
I've got one.
Go ahead.
Machamp. Sexy Machamp. Or Sexy Machoke. Both sexy video game characters.
Neither of them. They're Pokemon.
They are super sexy.
They're animals, Danny.
They're not animals. They're Pokemon. So there's no laws against Pokemon.
I'm pretty sure there are.
Ash's mom and Mr. Mime. There's totally no laws against Pokemon.
No, Ash's mom and Professor Oak, thanks. Not Mr. Mime.
It's Mr. Mime.
No.
It's a threesome. That's a three-way relationship.
That's so weird.
She's always with two guys in her house. It's always Mr. Mime and Professor Oak.
Gross. I don't know what video games you've been playing. That wasn't even in the video game.
I've been watching the anime. Also, Oceans 11 through Oceans 13.
Mm-hmm. Just in time for the new one to come out.
There you go.
Oceans 10, is that what it is?
Yeah, and I know it does tie into this trilogy, so...
Well, yeah, because it's all women, and so the joke is it takes less women to do what it takes guys to do.
Hashtag 2018, everyone.
But Mindy's in it. We have to go see it. Just for Mindy.
Oh, that's right. She is in it.
Just for Mindy.
Why isn't Betty White on there? Like, they missed a huge opportunity.
She'd be like, just shuffling along.
Yes, she'd be the best.
I've never seen any of the Ocean's Numbers movies, so maybe I'll have to watch one.
Ocean's 11 was one of those when you saw the trailer, like, fuck, is this the most expensive movie you ever made? Because it had Brad Pitt, it had George Clooney. It had huge fucking names on the movie. What's her name? Pretty Woman. She's in those perfume commercials now. She's got the giant smile, kind of the horse face type of thing.
Julia Roberts.
Yes, she was in that.
Wow.
And these were big names, like, back when that was made. That's what I'm saying here.
Can I tell you, I'm totally put off by George Clooney now.
Was it because of ER?
No, from before that. So I just started watching ER because what else is on Hulu? I gotta watch something. And my dad was going on and on. I loved ER. It was the greatest show. So I'm like, all right, I'll watch some of it. whatever. But because I've seen George Clooney in so many things, when I'm watching him in ER, I'm like, you're an asshole. You're an asshole, George Clooney. And he's not. He's a really nice guy in the show. And I'm like, you're a womanizer. That lady tried to kill herself because of you. But no, I mean, he's just nice in the show. But I think he's an asshole. So I'd probably think that in this movie, too. I don't know. I don't know why I think he's an asshole. I've never really seen anything where he's an asshole.
Well, we can watch Ocean's 11.
Maybe it's from Up in the Air when he was firing all those people.
True. Yeah. We can see how many head swivels he does, because that's when he was in overload of, like, he kept doing that head swivel thing. I don't know why he did that. That was, like, even in Golden Girls. It was like maybe it was a nervous twitch type of thing, because in Golden Girls, one of his earlier appearances, he does that same fucking thing, that head bobble. I don't know. I don't get it. He did it in Batman and Robin, too. Another movie on this Netflix edition for February, The Hurt Locker. That was up for an Oscar.
We watched that one?
No, we did.
We did?
We did. It had Hawkeye from that shitty Avengers movie. Jeremy Renner was in that. I vaguely remember it, and I remember enjoying it. It's the one where you have to disarm the bombs, and you have the big suit. Very good. I did. I really enjoyed that one. Awesome. Next on the list, we have Coach Snoop Season 1. This is a Netflix original series. Have you seen the trailer? No! It is a documentary that is broken up into episodes. It is about Snoop Dogg coaching kids in football. Shit, this is amazing. Does he curse? He can't curse. He might or he might not, but I thought immediately like, oh, this is going to be funny. But no, it's a serious documentary about how coaching these little kids in this football, in these football games and in this way has taught him more about the world in ways that music never did. And it moved him and had him grow as a man in ways that music never did. And I was like, holy shit, this is just Snoop at what he was really like, not, that character that he puts on. Laughing at Leo? He's giving you his opinion of this Netflix original series. He's like, it should be funnier. He should be talking about animals. I wish they would do a whole thing of him doing Planet Snoop. I wish that was a whole thing, but it's not. Anyway, I am excited to see the Snoop Dogg because I am a fan of his after Planet Earth. I was happy to find out, or more surprised, that him and Conan O'Brien are like really good friends in real life. Are they really? Yeah. Isn't he really good friends with Martha Stewart too? Yes. Yes, he is. Why is he friends with all these really white people? He's just a cool guy. Yeah, I guess. He's all of their black friend. Oh, okay. That's what it is. All of Hollywood's black friend. But I love, that's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see it. And good for Snoop for getting that. Like someone, he's probably bigger than Kevin Smith, but I was just hearing Smith's podcast and he was like, I've pitched the 4th show to Netflix and they still haven't picked me up. Leo's outraged. They should pick him up. Kevin Smith! Leo, this is the first time we've ever heard of that name. Leo, you don't even know who that is. But I'm glad Snoop Dogg got his deal, and I think it's going to bring in a good amount of viewers, especially after watching that trailer. The final Netflix edition, Full Metal Alchemist, the live action, I think it's a TV show, if not, it's a movie. Yes. Wow. It's another Netflix original series, and people are saying hopefully it's not as terrible as Death Note. Apparently that was terrible. Yeah, I never watched the original Death Note, so I know the basic premise. Yes, I know the basic premise too, but it was just, I've mentioned this before on the show, but anime was like banned in my house. So I would watch Inuyasha like at midnight when everybody was asleep on the lowest setting on the TV, and I'd sit right in front of it so I could hear what they were saying. That is how I got all my anime. There you go. But I do remember a lot of people liking Full Metal Alchemist. I watched an episode or two, and I mean, it was all right. Yeah. There were no cute guys in it, so I didn't really care when I was in high school. So those are our Netflix highlights for this month. That is what's joining February throughout the month. So you're going to see those added. Definitely check them out. And if you liked any of these, let us know. We're definitely going to watch several of them. And for many of them, it'll be the first time for Kelli. Yeah, and I'll let you know what I think of them. I did like The Godfather. We mentioned that last week. So I'm enjoying you showing me all these movies. Leo's liking them too, apparently. So let's head into the Brokette Block. Oh, yeah, I get to do the jingle, don't I? Yeah, do a jingle. Go for it. It had to be like black music. What does that mean? like you're in the hood, in the block. Did you say block music or black music? Block. Okay. B-L-O-C-K. Okay, I misheard you. I wasn't offended. I was surprised. but now I'm no longer surprised. I'm surprised at myself for thinking you would say that.
You should be. Apparently, you don't know me
Because the
anymore.
word black is offensive, apparently.
Apparently.
I don't know. Unrelated to what you just said. Lil Rel Howery fucking legitimized my nomination for the Broscars.
I was proud of you.
You doubted it.
I doubted it a little bit because it's still based off a line that you have changed.
That was caused by his amazing delivery and his amazing performance in the whole movie.
Listen,
he won a Broscar.
A line that you have changed to suit your own personal needs. It'd be like if Tommy Wiseau really didn't say, "What's a story, Mark, huh?" And I just said it that way, and then I gave him a Broscar for it.
You practically did with Disaster Artist. Gave that to James Franco. So Lil Rel Howery actually took our nomination because I tagged the night before. I was telling Bobby that I was debating maybe I should tag all these actors in movie accounts. No, it'll take me a while. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's see if one lands. And
is that why you came to bed so late? Because you were tagging all these people?
No, I was probably working on something else. Like I was tagging people while I was in bed trying to go to sleep. So the one person that did end up, because I'm like, maybe one of these accounts will see it and it looks like an Oscar slide anyway. Like maybe they'll accidentally retweet it and boom, thousands of impressions. But Lil Rel actually quoted the tweet and said, "Thanks, LOL." So he I don't know if he was laughing because like he's next to, Javier Bardem and Michael Keaton. It's like, no, I picked you, and not only as a nominee, but then as the winner. He didn't even know he won.
Oh,
maybe he does now.
You're gonna have to tweet him and let him know.
Yeah,
that he was the winner.
But he did a nice quote and a retweet, and that was amazing. He's the one person that came forth, and because of that, I will never. That is like the surest decision I've had in Broscar history.
In the whole 2 years.
In the whole 2 years. That's a lot of nominations.
That is.
A lot of people that have lost. And he was not one of them.
Well, good. Thank you. Wasn't it Lil Rel
Howery.
Okay, yes. Thank you.
He has won 100% of his Broscar nominations.
He has. That's pretty good numbers right there. Has he been in any other movies? Is that his first movie?
No, I'm sure he has, but this is probably the biggest movie he's been in. Get Out is getting tons of traction, and I'm sure we'll walk away with the lesser Oscars. That's coming on the heels of us riding on our coattails.
Right, like, oh, yeah, we were going to give it to them too to begin with.
It's like, no, you weren't, Oscars. You're only giving it to them because the reasons I'm broke did. That's what they're going to get thousands of tweets like that.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
The Brokette Corps, they don't forget. They will do it.
Thousands of Brokette Corps members.
Can you guys make multiple accounts, please?
At least 3 for each of you.
So continuing with the Brokette Block, let's head into our hashtag games for the week.
This week's hashtag game is hashtag overheard in the 90s.
Tons of great entries. You guys came out in full swing once again. Let's start with our Twitter users. @nmat68 said, "Talk to the hand."
Oh, yep, that was big.
And this one I related to so much. "Call me after 7 p.m. so I don't use minutes."
Oh, shit. It was after 9 p.m., thank you. After nights and weekends. It was after 9
right.
And on weekends. And eventually, if you were in the same network, you could call each other.
Right.
So do you remember Rabbit Trail when we first started dating and we couldn't talk on the phone during the day because it used up your minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that? And you would check it all the time to make sure you had enough minutes to talk to me? Aww. How cute.
So that's not even the 90s.
Throwback Thursday. I mean, it started in the 90s and then it progressed.
Yeah, that went on for a while, like way longer than it should have.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, I mean, now it's just turning into, like, you get free text, because then you had to pay 10 cents a text message.
Yes.
Can you imagine how much we'd pay?
Oh my God.
Shit. And so now you have unlimited minutes and text because nobody cares about those anymore, and it's all about your megabytes.
If they had kept it at 10 cents a text, people would still be calling each other all the time. I know people talk about like, oh, no one uses the phone for what it's meant for. It's like, well, now it's meant for this other thing. Mm-hmm. Like the use of it changes over time. But yeah, that's how you would have changed history if you still kept it at 10 cents a text.
Next, we have one from @EAntonOfficial who said, "All that and a bag of chips."
I never knew what that meant, really. Like it's
just
everything.
Everything and everything.
I gotcha.
It's a white
I
people.
want to know who started
It's
that.
a white people thing. Some white guy. He was like, yes, I got all that in a bag of chips. Ha 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 ha.
I don't think that was it, but
I'm pretty sure that's it.
at Brian Schaub 1 sent us a GIF of Wazza.
Yes. Do you remember those commercials?
I do.
It aired for the Super Bowl, and it had like the Ken doll and everything.
Wazza.
Also, the Budweiser frogs are real big
They
too.
were so
Budweiser.
good. They were amazing. I had one of my very first screensavers ever. It was on the family computer because that's what it was. You know,
Yes.
the house had a computer.
Not everyone had their own computer
No.
like now.
There was a screensaver that we downloaded, and it was the Budweiser frogs.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you move the mouse and then it would go away. But otherwise, if you hit certain keys, you can control the frog saying Budweiser, and you can do it in
Oh.
any combination, do it over and over. And I was fascinated by it. That also reminds me of the Simpsons joke in which they had the Budweiser frogs,
Mm-hmm.
and then a crocodile comes up and eats all three, and he goes, Coors.
I do remember that. Next, we have one from Cuban Slim, who gave us a couple. We have Page Me. That was did either of your parents ever have a pager?
No, and I never had one, so that was definitely before my time.
My mom was a nurse, so she had a pager. Those things were crazy. We also have Audi 5000.
Before my time.
Before my time. Down the Street.
Yep. Again.
Bout It. No Limit Soldiers. I Thought I Told You. I don't. That was.
Again, there's
Before
older
me.
Brokettes that are getting all this. They're like, yep, I remember all those.
Hi, my name is.
I see those on name tags now.
I
Is that
do.
where it came from? I don't
This one I do know. Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Yes.
The little chihuahua.
The now racist.
Yes.
But I'm speaking for all Mexicans and saying, no, that's not racist. Leave him alone. And we want the Taco Bell dog back.
I did love that Taco Bell dog. They made a little plush and you squeeze him. And he
Yes.
said, Yo quiero Taco Bell.
He was second to Speedy Gonzalez in our hierarchy of representatives in pop culture.
Leo sounds like he doesn't approve.
Like, now I have comedians like Louis C.K. who have quickly been torn back down. So I'm like, oh shit, not that Mexican guy. Let's go back to Speedy Gonzalez. Although I still love Louis. Like, I'll keep Louis. I still support you. So again, as an ambassador for Mexicans, I can say all three.
Louis okay.
Louis fine. I pardon him. I pardon him, much like Voldemort in fucking that Liam Neeson movie.
Hashtag I pardon you.
I pardon you. Kyle Inge had, Dad, take me to Blockbuster.
Yes.
My parents pay extra on our cable bill so we can get the Disney Channel. That's so braggy.
Well, now it's my parents pay extra, so we have HBO.
Ooh, fancy.
Ooh.
I just started playing this new game called Magic the Gathering. If you have some of those old cards, they are worth money.
Do you remember when Yu-Gi-Oh first came out?
I do. I played that along with everyone else.
Did I ever tell you my Yu-Gi-Oh story? Have I ever said that on this podcast? The first time I ever played Yu-Gi-Oh cards?
Was it that you beat your best friend's brother and then you never wanted to play
He
again?
never wanted to play again. Because he wanted me to play so that he could win because he had been playing for a while, and then I ended up beating him. I don't remember anything about the game, just that I beat him. And I was like, wait a second, aren't you knocked out now? And he's like, no, we're done. That was the last time I ever played that game.
You're like, I've got Exodia right here, all 5 pieces. That means I win, right? Like, I
win.
And I get all your cards, too. No, I'm not a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! Now. I dropped out of it within the first year. I think, like most players, although there is a fading fan base now, but it's got... Yu-Gi-Oh! Players have that reputation of not being the greatest, and I think it's perpetuated by the game itself. And if you watch the Yu-Gi-Oh! Show, it is a lot of, I keep your cards now, I destroy your deck. So it's like... It attracts a certain mind and a certain clientele who do like that more aggressive gameplay that is Yu-Gi-Oh! So unfortunately that comes with the rest of the baggage.
Are there things stronger than a Blue Eyes White Dragon now?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Oh, even back then there was.
No, Blue Eyes White Dragon is the triple-headed Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Blue Eyes White Dragon is the Charizard of fucking Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah,
Not the strongest Pokemon. Too popular. Lame.
We loved dragons in the 90s. I don't know. That's
Yeah, they
just
did.
what
Fucking
we
the
did.
Green Ranger. Oh my god.
Oh,
People-
yeah. Well, he was also a bad guy, too.
Yeah, they set that character up till not even ever stand the chance to not being popular.
Yep.
He had a Dragon Zord.
Uh-huh.
He had that awesome shield thing on his costume,
I
so he
don't
was
know.
different than the rest of
Yes.
the Rangers. His green had like a slightly metallic sheen to it.
He was kind of brown.
Native American, but but yeah, some Native Americans do get mistaken for Hispanics, for Mexicans. There's also the fact that he was a bad guy, as you mentioned, and then he turned good, so he does have that edge over the rest of the Power Rangers who were more goody two-shoes or examples of... By the way, I
Boy
tweeted this out.
Scouts.
In the very beginning of the Power Rangers song, it says, "Find me kids with attitudes." And I'm like, why is that a criteria for Zordon?
Because they gotta... That's what he's interested in, Dan. No, because they gotta karate chop things, so you gotta have an attitude.
You gotta have an attitude
to karate chop things.
Look, I tweeted out then Sonic the Hedgehog would be the best Power Ranger because he's got the most attitude.
But he's not a kid.
I'm pretty sure I read the Sonic manual and he's like 10 years old.
But he's a hedgehog, Danny.
Okay, so he's not human, is what you're saying?
The closest you could get is Knuckles because he's an echidna, and so. And so you could get away with it. Be like, but I'm a kid. And
you know what? Then Knuckles would make the greatest Power Ranger.
He does have a lot of attitude.
Does have a lot of attitude. He's a kid.
An echidna.
He would not be the Red Ranger though, because that wouldn't make sense. The Power Rangers always had to be something different.
Well, yeah, he could be like the Yellow Ranger or the blue one.
He could be the Green Ranger and he'd be the coolest Ranger. Like he would replace Tommy immediately. I fucking love Knuckles. Speaking of the biggest Sonic fan I know, at Swordfish Show had some entries for hashtag overheard in the 90s.
Oh no, my memory card is out of space. How am I going to save this game?
That literally was... That's still an issue with some of these games, but not like when we were kids. Because now you can, as an adult, buy a bigger memory drive or a bigger memory space for it or a whole different hard drive to connect to your system. But back then, it's like, maybe I can convince my parents, and they never understood.
Right, it wasn't a big deal for them.
Right, exactly. Like they're just like, oh, just keep playing from the beginning. It's like, you don't understand. Like, games aren't Galaga or Pac-Man anymore. Like, these are games that will take a long, long time to catch back up. I can't beat this game in an afternoon. It isn't an arcade, which is what they grew up with.
Right.
So I get it, but they never got it.
I ran into that problem with my Toy Story game on the N64. I never knew that games needed memory cards. And then I was playing my Toy Story game, and I turned it off, and then I turned it back on, and I was at the beginning again. I'm like, what the hell is this? Mario saves? Why doesn't Toy Story?
Like, if I could articulate as a child to my parent why I needed a memory card, it would be, well, I would explain that the games take long, but then they would say, well, just delete old save data. And then I would say, well, these are all landmarks of games that I've completed and accomplished. Like, if I ever want to rent that game again, and that was a big thing, like, you can rent it and continue it next time you got it.
At
Blockbuster. And you can continue to save data from there. So you always wanted to have that. If anything, for memories of, let me go back and load Ocarina of Time again and beat Ganon. Mm-hmm. You know, all of that shit was stuff that you can do.
Speaking of Blockbuster, did you hear the last one closed this week?
Is it actually, did it really close? Like,
That's
I know
heard.
they have a Twitter account.
The one in Texas. The last Blockbuster store closed, is what I heard. It's what I read.
I don't know. I didn't hear about that.
It was definitely a staple of the 90s.
Joshua on Facebook said, well, she sneaks around the world from Kiev to Carolina. Okay, I don't know this one. Is this a song?
I think it's Carmen Sandiego. I don't remember.
She sneaks around the world from Kiev to Carolina. She's a sticky-fingered filcher from Berlin to Belize. She'll take you for a ride on a slow boat to China. It's probably, I guess it is Carmen Sandiego.
I'm going to have to look it up.
We did not do research.
No.
But then the more obvious from Josh, and this is one that I'm like, yes. We're tiny, we're toony, we're all a little loony, and in this cartoony, we're invading your TV. Dun dun dun.
Leo looked over like,
holy shit.
You guys can do that?
They're synchronized. I just learned that word. Due to this example in front of my face.
So yes, definitely things that we heard in the 90s. We also have one from the Mr. Riggs, who said, did I do that?
So good. So good. Nicholas on Facebook. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes, we all knew about that one.
As a child even.
I was 6 years old or something ridiculous.
That was in Time for Kids. I don't know if your school ever got those, but our teachers subscribed to Time for Kids, and we would get the little version of the big magazine. And, in there was when Mother Teresa died, Princess Diana, And then the scandal with Monica Lewinsky, they put that in the article
Why'd
in
they
the
put
fucking
that in
book.
Time for Kids?
I know, and my teacher even had to say, like, we're going to skip this section, because we would read it together as a class, and she said, we're going to skip this section. If you guys want to ask your parents about it, go ahead. And then I did, and then I found out about it, and I fucking just read the article, and it's like, okay. But I didn't understand as a kid, like, what's the blue dress scandal? I don't understand. I just know that he was accused of cheating on his wife, and that was it. Like, that was all I knew. But not like it's super fascinating looking at it now and seeing all the evidence and all the tapes, the where they were grilling him. Like, did you really do this? And no, I did not have sex with her. But then, it came out that she's like, no, I sucked his dick. And he's like, well, I don't consider that sex.
And you know what? Now we all love him. So
how lovable that guy cheating on his wife.
It all worked out really well for him. Maybe the two of them were in a place fighting monsters for decades, and it was only days for us.
Him and Monica. And back then, people were angrily yelling at their TV.
Yes. And I submitted one as well. I actually had something for this.
From the Emperor herself?
Yes, the Emperor. In West Philadelphia, born and raised. Everybody knew that fucking song.
Not me.
You didn't know that song?
How's it go?
On the playground is where I spend most of my days, chilling out, maxing, relaxing out, cooling, all shooting some b-ball outside of the school, when a couple of guys that were up to no good started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight, and my mom got scared. She's like, you're moving with your auntie and uncle to Bel Air.
That sounds like a Block song.
Doom, 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 doom. Yeah, that is actually how it goes. You never watched The Fresh Prince of Bel Air?
No, I was a Family Matters kid. And a Full House.
No.
Wonder Years.
No, I didn't watch any of those. I watched Fresh Prince of Bel Air and The Nanny. You know what else we heard all up in the 90s too? Ding!
What?
The Game Boy Color.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is.
That was random.
You turn it on and it goes ding, or Cowabunga. I heard that one a lot too. From Ninja Turtles. Good times, those 90s. Oh no, you know what else? What was the Windows noise when the Windows started up?
Oh, I don't remember.
Or something like that. We all heard that fucking Windows. Like, if you hear it now,
dun,
you'd
dun.
know. That's Netflix.
No. That was all, like AOL or Windows. One of them was like, dun dun.
That's Netflix. Or, dial up.
Deke. What about the Deke?
Oh, yeah. I used to have a movie. Was it Rupert? Do you remember Rupert? Did you ever watch Rupert the Bear?
I did. For me, it was TMNT, like the cartoon. Whenever you put those, Deke.
I think Deke did Rupert the Bear too. It was creepy. I only ever watched it at my grandma's.
So we just went down the 90s memory lane on the Brokette Block. So thank you guys so much for submitting your hashtag game responses. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook.com/TheReasonsI'mBroke and on Twitter @ReasonsI'mBroke, @Kelli, to participate in the hashtag games, and we'll use it on the next episode. Mm-hmm. But rounding off the Brokette Block, we've got our Patreon shout-outs of the week, the backers who make the quality, the audio quality, and the guests possible for you.
We have 3 shout-outs this week. The first goes out to Alexander, who is @SwordfishShow on Twitter, or purpleswordfish.com.
If you head on over to purpleswordfish.com, it will take you straight to his YouTube channel, and he will actually be subscribing to that Sonic the Hedgehog ongoing series. He picked that up back when it was releasing, as we heard on the guest spot that he did do on the show, and now he's going to own issues 1 through 4 in that month when they release, and then probably the ongoing, depending on how the story goes. But it's pretty awesome that they're putting Sonic back on, and it is from the same writer that's been doing it for so many years.
Our next shout out goes out to Lourdes and Katie.
Katie's enjoying her Deathstroke annual #1, and she is very much looking forward to the Deathstroke story in which Batman and Deathstroke fight yet again. But because it is the Deathstroke story, I'm pretty sure they're going to make Deathstroke win.
What about the story where they team up and ain't no justice for the wicked? I don't know.
They're probably going to team up.
Of course, they're on the same team.
Oh, that's true.
So they have to work together. So she will enjoy that as well. And our final shout out goes out to Bobby, who is @Cuban Slim. Leo doesn't like him, I guess.
Bobby helped judge the largest regional in North America for Pokemon in history. So that is over 1,700 Pokemon players.
That's ridiculous. Are there that many players in the state?
Well, it's regional. So actually a lot of people from Florida went to this regional series, and people from around the country went to play in this event. And this is from the Pokemon card game. It's not the video game, although I'm sure there were some side events for the game, but it is mainly the card game. And that is because of the resurgence of the cards in recent years. And I know people like to attribute it to Pokemon Go, but it's been back since before Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go helped in bringing in new players, but that series, the whole card game, was back on its rise since well before that app released.
That's great. I'm glad that it's back on the rise. I pulled out my Pokemon Yellow version this week. Fun fact. I was enjoying it. Leo was enjoying it. And then he was like, Mom, this is like some old shit. I don't know what you're doing. But thank you guys so much for your Patreon support. As we say every week, it really helps the show. I think we almost break even every month now.
Yeah, about $7 away from breaking even.
So very close. But the reason we do this show is for all of you. So your support is always welcome and appreciated.
If you want to help out the podcast for as little as $1 a month, head on over to you can head over to thereasonsimbroke.com, click on the Patreon banner at the very bottom of the page. Otherwise, patreon.com/thereasonsimbroke. There's also a link in today's show notes, so you can click on there too. And the $1 a month gets you your shout out every single month. It gets you the podcast early every single week. And it also gets you the contest entries for the giveaways that we do. In this case, we're doing Batman Beyond Volume 2 from DC Rebirth, which is the latest volume from the current ongoing.
But of course, our podcast will always be free. The best thing you can do for us is leave us a review on iTunes or whatever podcatcher you use. Reach out to us on Twitter, again, at ReasonsI'mBroke, at Kelli, and let your friends know about us.
You can also leave us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/thereasonsimbroke. And speaking of which, we do have someone who has used the SpeakPipe link once again.
Finally.
So this one comes from Twitter user and Patreon Brokette at Kyle Inge. And he seems to be an ambassador for the Brokette Core. And he presents a challenge, mainly to me, I think. But let's go ahead and hear it.
Hello, Daniel and Kelli. And hello, Leo, future ruler and heir to the intergalactic Reasons I'm Broke Empire. This is Twitter user at Kyle Inge, and I have a question for Daniel and a challenge for him from some of the Brokettes. My question would be, we all know that Black Panther is set to premiere, and we all know your true views of the MCU. I'm wondering if you could speak a little bit on what you think of Black Panther, a movie that is based on a C or maybe B-level Marvel superhero that was extremely underdeveloped in Captain America Civil War, and basically unknown to most of the general public before that point. The challenge I have was given to me by some of the horrible MCU-loving Brokettes. They have asked me that if Black Panther somehow surpasses Batman vs. Superman with 137 million plus in its opening weekend domestic box office earnings, would you be willing to attend Marvel's Infinity War film later this year with us? And as part of the challenge, would you be willing to wear a I Heart Joss Whedon t-shirt if somehow Black Panther can surpass Batman vs. Superman? We will take your answer either on the show or on Twitter. Thank you.
I love that little Leo is the future ambassador for the show.
He is. I leave it all to him in my passing, which will never happen because I'm the Emperor. Yeah.
You guys will get to go to my funeral, if anything.
Don't talk about that. That's so sad. I still have mommy hormones. I cry all the time.
Going back to The Simpsons, do you remember when he had eaten the fugu and he was going to die? He had accidentally poisoned himself at the sushi restaurant, and they tell him, like, you have 24 hours to live, and then and that's it. And he cries. He's like, I'm not even going to see my children die.
It's horrible.
So, this is a challenge by the Brokette Core. And Kyle Inge, I like your tone, Kyle, because he's saying, these MCU Brokettes.
We love all our Brokettes equally, Danny.
We do. I still like his view, though. He's right, though, that Black Panther was super underdeveloped in Civil War, just as much as Spider-Man was. They were both kind of just shoehorned in there. and they didn't do much for the movie. And as I said before, that is why it's my least favorite of the 3 Captain America movies. And I think people give that, like many things in Disney's MCU, a pass simply because the rest of their friends are also into it, so they better be into it too. Otherwise, they're going to be ostracized, as I am, for saying most of those fucking movies are shitty, guys. They're not. There's some bad shit in there.
I think that you should take this. I take that back. I think that there are certain parts of this challenge that you should take.
So I'm allowed to break it up? Do I get your permission? Is it because of the Emperor that decrees this?
Yes.
Okay, only...
But I'm gonna alter it a little bit. Alter it. So I think that if this does surpass Batman v Superman, you should go with some of the Brokettes to see Infinity War. It's a nice way to go hang out with some of our Brokettes, right? It is. So yes, you should do that. However, the whole T-shirt thing, that can be Patreon goal number 7.
I agree with these terms. In all seriousness, the way that Ragnarok, which by the way, somehow has a higher review rating than The Fountain, than Black Swan, than I think almost all of Aronofsky's movies, which are better.
Y'all got him going.
Than most of the DC movies and most of the Marvel movies. All of them. They're better than all of those movies.
We're going to be here a while, but
and that shit has a lower rating than fucking Thor Ragnarok. That's how you know that Rotten Tomatoes is fucking broken, and don't ever point to Rotten Tomatoes rating ever again. Don't ever click on that shitty fucking website, because that shows illegitimacy. That shows the falsity that is review congregations. And once again, this is not the website saying that's what we're going to give it. This is reviewers, bloggers, failed filmmakers that are putting out these reviews, that are going after directors that are in Hollywood because they couldn't fucking make it. And as soon as they have an agenda and they want to pick on a whole series, someone like Zack Snyder, they're going to do it. And that is just one example of 3 movies that are clearly better than Thor I have not even seen Ragnarok, and I can tell you, based on all the Marvel and DC movies, it is going to be way better than that fucking movie, and to anything DC makes, and to anything Marvel makes from now to the end of time.
But Ragnarok was easy to understand.
It's fucking it's Guardians of the Galaxy with Hulk and Thor, from what everyone is saying, and so fucking be it. I have no reason to see it, and that's why, because of that, one thing, Ragnarok, that was a tangent I went on, but Ragnarok made more money than Justice League, which I never thought would have happened, and why I took that previous bet with Bobby. I'm not going to take this bet because now apparently we live in a fucking topsy-turvy world where people will give more money to a lesser product.
Yes, but what do you lose if you lose this bet? You have to go see a crappy movie with some Brokettes.
I have to see a shitty fucking Avengers movie. Like, all of those movies have been crap. The first one was the worst. That's the worst MCU movie to this day. It is fucking terrible. It's just like Justice League, which was the worst DCEU movie so far. Those movies have terrible story. The acting isn't great. The pacing is awful. The special effects aren't great. And Avengers is the worst of it. Why do I want to see another sequel to it?
With our Brokettes?
With our Brokettes, plus wearing the Joey Whedon shirt, even if you make it another goal.
It's Patreon goal number 7.
I'm going to lose this bet because, again, we live in this topsy-turvy world where a fight between Batman and Superman makes less money than fucking Black Panther. Are we adjusting for inflation? Are we going to adjust? I don't care if it's only been a few years. Are we going to adjust for that? Even if we did, this is going to surpass it somehow magically, as this gets better reviews than another fucking Aronofsky movie. This is not... I'm going to lose this bet. And these fans are the same fan base that's acting as if this is the first movie with a lead black actor, not even superhero. Let's ignore Blade, but they're acting like this is the second coming of the civil rights movement in film form. It's like, have you seen movies, even in the Oscars, even if you just watch Oscar-nominated movies, there are better movies that contain black characters and black actors in those, yet this is getting that attention because it's the popular fucking thing right now. So no, I will not take a losing bet, and I will never wear a Joey Whedon t-shirt. I'll wear a Joey Whedon. I'll wear a Joseph Whedon. I'll wear a Joe Whedon. I won't wear an I Heart Joss Whedon shirt. Not even for a bet. Not even if I lost. Not even for Brokette Patreon goal number 7.
I will wear a terrible shirt for Patreon goal number 8.
My rage for Joey Whedon surpasses your rage for me occasionally calling it Kingdom of Hearts.
You call it that all the time. Don't be saying occasionally. You have called it the wrong name more than you have ever called it the correct name.
Let's equate your annoyance when I call it Kingdom of Hearts to my annoyance to any time I think about Joe Whedon. Like, that bar is very skewed.
See, I just have to curb my annoyance because you're my husband and we live in the same house. If you lived in the same house with Joey Wheaton, you would curb your annoyance.
Every day I would tell him, your fucking movies suck.
That's terrible.
Except for Dr. Horrible. That one's ironically pretty good.
Well, I guess you're just going to have to let down some broquettes.
We're going to hang out for the MegaCon thing.
I thought you were a man of the Broquette Core, but whatever.
This has nothing to do with me being a man of the Broquette Core.
I see how it goes.
We're doing 2 MegaCon meetups. And they're going to go up on Facebook, and Kyle's actually helping organize that. So, see, it's still a thing. Like, it's still in the same group, and it's being organized by Kyle, who is that somewhat, I wouldn't say he's the balance between the Brokette Core that put him up to this, because he's kind of on our side anyway, with his thoughts on Black Panther. And yes, it is a C to D grade character. I wouldn't even say B, because Iron Man at one point before that movie was a C-level character. So, there you go. I that's my rage. That's what I'm going to say to this fucking bet.
That's your rage reaction.
And I'm not mad at the bet. I'm mad at the fact that I'm going to lose this bet if I take it, because people are going to give that more money than they did Batman v Superman. 2 iconic characters over Black Panther, which is popular because of the MCU and fucking Disney. It is nonsense.
I will make a bet with you. I don't think it's going to make more than Batman v Superman in the first opening weekend.
You take their fucking bet then. I'm out of this.
Oh, so you're going to watch my child so I can go to this movie?
You want to watch Avengers? You're going to go see fucking shitty-ass Avengers?
I
with a Joe Whedon t-shirt?
I will make a different kind of bet. Yeah, I don't care about Joe Whedon. Fuck it.
That's true. You don't really lose.
No. I will make a bet with you. Shake my hand here.
Well, I need to agree to it.
I haven't decided what I want yet. I'd like to go get my toenails done.
Well, how about the Brokette Core can maybe come back next week with a modified bet for the Emperor, which she can also still modify anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But she thinks it's going to she's willing to take this bet, but those conditions don't really punish her or don't really embarrass her in any way.
I don't think it's going to make more money.
You don't think Black Panther's? It's got more pre-sold tickets than any Marvel movie thus far. And some of those have made more than BVS.
I don't think it's going to make more money.
All right, Brokette Core, let's see.
Your son just spit up in
disapproval?
No.
Protest?
He was supporting me, in support of me. He's like, yeah, Dad, bleh, that's what I think of you.
Why am I the bad guy in this?
Because he's my child. I'm the one who provides the milk and the diaper changes. And his life. I supplied his life.
I did that too.
A very small part of it.
Do you see him? He looks exactly like me. A huge part of it.
Did you carry him for 9 months?
I carry him for 9 minutes.
Did you labor with him? And have you seen how giant his head is?
Oh, it's ginormous.
That is a whole nother story and a whole nother issue in my life.
Thank you, by the way, for sending in the SpeakPipe voicemail. That was great.
Continue to send in SpeakPipes. We do love to hear them, even if it sends Daniel down a nerd rage rabbit hole.
Oh my God, yeah. He said he had like 20 takes before he sent in this one. And I'm like, the first one would have been fine, Kyle. But we appreciate the concern in trying to make it just right to match the quality that Brokettes deserve. So we hope Kyle definitely delivered that. We hope we did this episode. Let's head into our comic book highlight for the week.
As we said in the very beginning, our comic book highlight this week is Doomsday Clock number 3.
And there are going to be 12 issues total in this maxi series. It is written by Jeff Johns, art by Gary Frank, with colors by Brad Anderson.
Can I just tell you that I hate that they're called maxi series?
Yeah, you had mentioned that before.
It still bothers me. Like maxi pads, maxi dresses.
So what'd you think of the third entry into the Doomsday Clock? We're not even a third of the way done with this 2019 ending series.
I thought it was great. It still keeps with the feel of the original Watchmen while we're finding out more that's happening in the story. And they're doing a fantastic job with it, absolutely. And we had that big twist at the beginning of the end of the last one, and we get to see that carried out throughout this one.
Right. We're going into spoiler territory here, Brokette. So if you don't want this issue spoiled, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you in episode number 282. But at the very beginning, you see the return of the comedian. You see who brings it back to life, and of course it is Dr. Manhattan. We don't know why, but we do get another glimpse of Dr. Manhattan as he brings back the comedian into the main DC universe, and this is where he ends up. And what's most fascinating to me is that he fucking starts fighting Ozymandias, and he says, "I was drunk and miserable when you fought me. Now you're going to fight me as I'm meant to be." Then he gives him a fucking run for his money. Now, when I was reading this, I'm like, I think Ozymandias would have still kicked the comedian's ass, honestly.
But Ozymandias also has cancer, so...
That's true, too. That's a fucking... Yeah, that's a good point.
Ozzy's not at 100% either.
The tables have turned in this case. Good job, Jeff Johns. That's
Good job,
something
Kelli,
he did not tell me
for pointing
about
it
this.
out to you. Oh, my goodness.
So I thought that was a great thing of like, yeah, finally, fucking Ozymandias, you piece of shit. Like, I know this is for the greater good,
You
but
B-chant.
but I like comedian more than I like the B-chant that is Ozymandias.
Yes.
The other bigger thing, also, he goes out of a fucking window. He fucking forces him out of it, much like Ozymandias did. But Batman and Rorschach working together, the one complaint I had is they're just hanging out in the Batcave, and I'm like, Batman would want to know everything about Rorschach. He wouldn't just say, "Who are you?" "Okay, I'll read your journal." Like, that was one thing that I'm like, I don't know.
Batman already knows who he is. Calm down. He's been watching him.
And he lets him run around the mansion with Alfred. Like, I would not have trusted Rorschach, this stranger, with your butler.
Yeah, but Alfred's like fucking kick his ass.
Yeah, that's true.
Who's a better fighter, Rorschach, who isn't the real Rorschach, or Alfred, who is military trained, super spy, pretty much James Bond?
Yeah, that's true.
All right,
Alfred will kick his
come on.
ass.
Yeah.
But this is the first reveal of the new Rorschach, which has made this speculator issue because it's the first time you see his face. We don't know if he acts like the main Rorschach from Watchmen.
Yeah.
So it could still be him. I don't know if maybe Dr. Manhattan brought him back in some way, or we don't know his origin.
They kind of show it. He's in a car when the giant octopus shows up.
Oh, that's right.
And he's like, "Oh, fuck, giant octopus."
Yeah.
So we don't know what happened from there.
We do see the development of these two new characters, which I'm really liking. I
really
think
like them too.
They fit in the Watchmen universe, and one of them does have that superpower of, oh shit, he does have a fucking gun, like the mime.
Yeah, the mime guy. He doesn't say anything, but he's like killing people.
I love that. And there's some very strong hints to the Joker as they're walking around that carnival. It's the exact same panel from The Killing Joke.
They're in the Joker's club.
Yes,
and they do mention that. And from the moment I saw these characters, I was like, they're pretty much the Joker and Harley. Like they're gonna have to meet up with them sometime. So I think we will see that in the next few issues.
And then at the very end, the twist or the payoff to this issue, this was after Batman has read Rorschach's journal. He knows all about Dr. Manhattan. As you mentioned, he knew this shit already. So they're going into Arkham Asylum, and he says, Dr. Manhattan's signature is this way. And they go into Arkham Asylum. Fucking Rorschach falls for the oldest trick in the book. Like, yeah, it's in there. And then he goes in, and fucking Batman locks it up, and he says, "You belong here." And then that's it. Like, he fucking leaves him in there. He says, "You're insane. You're fucking crazy. Your fucking little journal is from a madman. You are nonsense." And he leaves him in Arkham, says he belongs there. The most fucking Batman thing that you have ever... Like, that is Batman. And what is Batman? Here, read these last couple pages. Read this issue. That's Batman. Like... And that is like the ending to an animated series episode at the same time, because it's like, he's like, "I will kill you, let me out of here." And it's just brr, 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 brr. And then credits, like, that's a perfect ending to this. Like, the Doomsday Clock could have ended here. I would have been fine with it.
But we never get to see Dr. Manhattan, except for his foot.
I saw his feet.
So let me ask you this about this book, because they had mentioned that Dr. Manhattan was going to be hidden in some other DC character, right?
Yes.
Did you notice when Rorschach goes into the thing, it has a quote from Alice in Wonderland?
Yeah.
So then I was
Mad
like,
Hatter.
Is it Mad Hatter? But I don't think it's actually Mad Hatter, but it's probably someone related to Mad Hatter.
You think so?
I think so. You don't think so?
I think it's going to be someone... It's Jeff Johns. No one's going to guess at who it is. Everyone says it's going to be... I don't know why his name is escaping me right now. Captain Atom.
Mr. Shrinko?
It's not going to be Captain Atom.
No.
Like, that's the obvious connection, because it used to be that.
He's got the atom on his forehead.
And that's who the character was originally going to be before DC told Alan Moore, you can't use these characters, make up your own, and then he did. So I think there's going to be some kind of connection there between the two characters, but I don't think Dr. Manhattan is strictly Captain Atom, although that would be kind of a neat way to tie it all back together. But it's going to be really cool to see who that reveal ends up being, who that character ends up manifesting as. And I don't know if this Three Jokers thing is the two mimes and the Joker are the three. We haven't really seen that payoff yet. But I can't wait for the next issue in 2 months. And
yeah.
But so far, this one is probably still like the, oh shit, like we get more answers.
Right.
We get more payoff moments with comedian fighting Ozymandias. We get Batman putting away Rorschach. It's not a fight. It's, yeah, you're insane too. Get out of here.
You get more questions every issue too, though, and that's exactly what you want from a story. You want some questions to be answered, but it leads to something bigger, and then you're like, what's going on?
And that's what Jeff Johns does. That's what he does best. And this is why Doomsday Clock is selling. And as we said before, the sales are going to drop because of the schedule, but we know that the story, so far at least, will be quality.
And that will wrap up our podcast for the week. The episode's pretty action-packed. I had a lot of great things to say, I think.
You did. We hope you all enjoyed the Broskers.
Yes, last week.
If you did not tune in, if this is your very first episode, The Reasons I'm Broke show, make sure to check out last week's where we did the Brosker Awards. We gave out the most prestigious award for movies, acting, actors, actresses, directors, cinematography, and I had a really fun time editing and then hearing the production later, like, okay, this paid off. Like the long hours paid off. And we hope you all enjoyed it. And I have been seeing some tweets of people enjoyed that. They've enjoyed the Harley Quinn and Joker talk about whether or not he has sex. And most Brokette said, yeah, the Joker has had sex with Harley Quinn, but for different reasons. So I think that's been the most interesting to me, is to read the different, like, oh, it's because of this, this, and this. So it's like, oh, interesting. So there's always that good discussion. And that's why the Joker is so fascinating, because again, they don't give us enough answers. It's more of a, there's different versions of him, and there's the different ones that we have in our heads, and we have different they haven't nailed him down, and I think that's why he's been so fascinating to many readers. So thank you so much for interacting with us from the Broskers, our Joker Talk, and for tuning into this episode. If you enjoyed it, leave us a review on iTunes. We're up to 32 reviews, so we're about to be on review 33, and that helps out new Brokettes in finding and discovering the podcast.
So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Daniel.
And we have little Leo here as well. And we will see you guys next week.